Are women crazier than men? I've always heard about crazy girls, and let's explore whether that is true because usually stereotypes comes from people observing and then relaying that message out into the world. Well, out of all these personality traits I have here, we have neuroticism, which essentially is kind of a measure for crazy. But what it essentially means is how worried you are as a person. And let's look at the distribution between men and women. Men is represented in the black line and women is represented in the dotted line here. This is a representative sample from a research study from ResearchGate. What this graph here shows me is that we're both pretty normally distributed and the majority is around 0 and maybe a little bit less than. But we do see a right skewed, as in the people who are very neurotic are highly neurotic. And there's fewer of them, but they're also the most neurotic people. But no one is like -4 in neuroticism, as in like no one is completely not worrisome at all. What I want you to notice here is the distribution overlay. So men have a higher peak, as in the sharp peak is a lot higher, as in there are more density of men around 0 neuroticism, which also could be interpreted as there are more men that are less neurotic. As for women, the curve is a bit more flatter out and it takes on more area over to the more neurotic side. And that can be shown as the graph essentially is a bit higher than the male's graph. And at the edge cases, which essentially means that the most neurotic people in the world are more likely to be women, and the least neurotic person in the world are more likely to be men. So the answer is yes, there is such thing as crazy girls, and it's part of psychology and biology. However, before the men get too excited, you also need to know that more men are in jail as compared to women. That's the type of crazy you should be worried about.